Show
You never heard of a talking horse?
with your host, Louisa Barton.
I want to be a famous rider. I should like to race.
Presented by Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital.
Truth is, I help horses with people problems.
Now here's the Brit on the bit, Louisa Barton. Yeah, baby.
The Larson family has been farming hay in Idaho for generations with a mission to always provide high-quality hay products at a fair and reasonable price. Larson Hay loves to meet new customers while always honoring the ones they already have. Find Larson Hay on the web at larsonhay.com, like them on Facebook, and definitely visit one of their locations. Larson Hay, Idaho's finest alfalfa, and our television broadcast sponsor. The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital. Welcome to the Horse Talk Show presented by Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our broadcast sponsor, Idaho's finest alfalfa. I'm Louisa Barton in the studio. My co-host Maria Lacasse is out this week, so it'll just be me for the first segment. I'm going to start off sharing with you who we have this week for the show. I think it's pretty exciting. We have a great lineup. We're going to have Dr. Kayot on next, talking about blister beetle. Then in the third and fourth segment, we have a top equestrian here in the studio with us, Dory Douglas, who's going to share some great things, some incredible things about her career growing up, and lots more, especially about Lola, who I'm very excited to hear about. And then we actually have a top reiner, Matt Mills, and also Shannon Rafus. So we'll be talking a little reining later in the show to wrap it up. But first of all, I want to mention the Hobby Horse Equestrian Games. The Chamber and Economic Partnership here in Ocala, the horse capital, is the only chamber that we know of in the world that has an equine initiative. We think it's pretty important. Back in 2016, after a study on the equine industry here in the Marion County area, numbers showed $2.6 billion for economic impact, and that was back before World Equestrian Center, and that was 6 or 7 years ago now. So we know those numbers have changed significantly and increased dramatically, but important enough for the Chamber to really emphasize how important the equine industry is to this area. And we do a couple of events each year that are equine focused, and really they're equine awareness events to help people learn about, first of all, horses and all the breeds and disciplines, as well as the sports that really bring the people here that certainly spend all the money, or at least a lot of it. And those include racing, show jumping, eventing, reining, barrels, and polo. So we are going to have top experts in every discipline and equestrians to teach, first of all, the attendees to this very, very fun and exciting event that is free admission to the general public at the Florida Horse Park. And we are going to, after the teaching session, we're going to actually compete on stick horses. You can bring your own stick horse or make one at the event, and you'll be able to compete. And the top equestrian that taught you will be the judge, and there'll be prizes in each class. We'll have a couple of different age groups, so the adults aren't competing against the little kids, to give the little kids a chance. There's also going to be vendors, some food trucks. We're going to have a live real horse all breed parade to celebrate the different breeds that we have in the Marion County area. And I think overall it'll be a lot of fun. The polo match at the end of the day is going to be on stick horses. We're looking for a couple of teams to compete there in that tournament, so that should be a lot of fun. So that is October 22nd from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Florida Horse Park at 11008 South Highway 475. And we're going to have you watch this video right now, demo of polo. The Hobby Horse Equestrian Games will be held at the Florida Horse Park on October 22nd. This event is part of the Equine Initiative presented by Piranha, and it's a great way to learn horse sports from top equestrians and compete yourself from the safety of a stick horse. We're seeking businesses who would like to compete against one another in the polo tournament and sponsors for the event. This event will be free to the public and all ages are welcome. Please reach out to Louisa at ocalacep.com if you'd like to be involved. So please let me know if you're interested in helping us out there with that, if you want to be a sponsor, if you'd like to be one of the equestrians that is willing to come and teach the sport and be a judge, probably take about an hour of your time maybe to come and do that. Louisa at ocalacep.com. We're definitely going to enjoy having a vendor area as well. So if you have a horse product or service you'd like to promote, you can have a 10 by 10 space and set up there, and you'll have access to a lot of equestrians and non-equestrians and folks of all ages. So it's going to be a great event. We certainly hope you'll come and join us at the Florida Horse Park for that. We really, really want to increase awareness of horse sport. We also want to make it non-intimidating for you, so that when you go and watch something at World Equestrian Center or the Florida Horse Park or any of these wonderful venues that we have here in the Marion County area, you understand the sport and you kind of know what you're watching and what's supposed to happen. So we think it's also a little less risky for you to try it from a stick horse the first time. One of our 501c3s in the Marion County area is the Heart of Florida Youth Ranch, and we love the Heart of Florida Youth Ranch. They have got some foster kids living there on site who've been through some terrible situations, whether that be they've been trafficked or they've been in a sexual physical abuse situation, or they've been involved in some kind of problem with their family where they have been put into foster care. They actually live on the facility in Citra. They can house up to 38 children. I think they have 29 or 30 at the moment living there. And they have 8 horses also living on property. And this program is phenomenal for these kids. Everything from learning basically the horse industry and all sorts of equestrian skills, so that when they graduate from high school, they can actually go out and work in the horse world. Brenda does an absolutely phenomenal job there, teaching lots of horsemanship skills. They actually get to ride. They have riding lessons. They learn the basics of leading, loading, schooling, lunging, feeding, farm maintenance, fixing fences, mowing, everything that goes into actually having a farm or working on a farm. And these kids really need this program. So we are encouraging our listeners to jump in and foster or sponsor a horse if you can. It's $95 a month to sponsor one, and Giddy needs a sponsor. Giddy is a mare, warm blood, and apparently is very amiable and caring. And one of the children actually was having a rough day and crying and sad about something, went over to the fence. One of the horses came over, put its head over the fence, and his eye was running at the time, and the child thought the horse was crying right alongside her. So I think there's something to be said for the emotional support part of these horses and the wonderful things that this program really does to help support these kids, and just how important it is. So if you can, reach out to Brenda at 352-425-0709 and let her know that you'd like to help in any way you can. You can visit a couple of times a year at events. You can also get updates on your horse and the progress that your horse is making with the children in the program. So Heart of Florida Youth Ranch, a great cause here in the Marion County area. So last night, I'm very fortunate enough to be with the Florida Horse Park Board, been appointed to the board for the Florida Horse Park, and I think it's such a great honor, and I love to be part of such a wonderful facility, 500-acre facility here in the Marion County area that offers such a wonderful place to show and school and trail ride and so many other things that you can do at the park. And they have so many events, horse events and non-horse events. And very fortunate last night to be in the meeting. And I don't want to jump the gun and share too much right now, because I think that the press release should be coming out very soon. But that was my view when everybody was getting ready for the meeting last night, and we'd actually come to agreement on a number of things, but there is some very, very exciting news coming soon. And as I said, I don't want to jump the gun. I want to wait on the horse park to put out the press release. But just so you know, it's exciting stuff. So we'll be looking for that and sharing that with you on social media. If you have not already liked us at the Horse Talk Show on Facebook and followed us on Instagram, please do so. Of course, we're also on Equus Television up to 8 times a day on all smart TV networks. And, of course, we're on the Sky 97.3 and Odyssey.com on Saturday mornings. So we hope you find a way to join us. Coming right back with Dr. Adam Kayott from Peterson & Smith, we're going to talk a bit about blister beetles. Stay with us.
This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. All horses need a solid immune system, excellent joint support, a healthy gut, and DAC has all the vitamins and minerals they need with the NASC stamp of approval. So like them on Facebook now or go to feeddac.com. DAC, it makes a world of difference.
With over 70 years of collective experience in the horse industry, Lip Chip was built with integrity by horsemen for horsemen. Introducing the Chip Link system, powered by Lip Chip, where a 15-digit unique ID becomes a key to unlock not only identity, but also health paperwork, owner information, and even photos of each horse. So simple, even a child can do it. The future is here. The future is Lip Chip.
Enhance your horse's performance, fitness, strength, and rehabilitation with state-of-the-art equipment. ETI treadmills offer the finest European engineering, the highest quality filtration, and no chemicals are required. Follow Equine Therapy International on social media or at equinetherapyint.com. Equine Therapy International provides technologically advanced therapy for horses worldwide.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital. I'm Louisa Barton from the Horse Talk Show, and we're here on location at Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital in the horse capital of the world, Ocala, Marion County, Florida. And we have Dr. Adam Kayott here, and we're going to chat about something that's come up recently in the news. Sadly, in Wisconsin, some horses died from blister beetle, and some others were actually left very, very ill. It was a very sad situation. I'm going to talk a little bit to Dr. Kayott about the blister beetle, and having done some research and studied up a little on this, apparently one of the biggest issues is when hay is cut and baled at the same time rather than left to dry, and the blister beetles get stuck in the crimper, and it's hard for them to get out, and they can be very, very harmful to horses. So I'm going to talk to Dr. Kayott a little bit about that. Dr. Kayott, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Lovely to have you back with us. Tell us a little bit about your experience with the blister beetle.
Well, luckily, I don't have a lot of experience with the blister beetle, but the blister beetle is it's a nasty little thing. It's very toxic to horses. Even a ingestion of a little bit of the body of the beetle can be can make a horse very sick. So. The thing that makes the horse the sickest is the poison, which is called cantharidin, and it shows up as it causes ulcerations, typically of the mucosa of the mouth, can cause ulcerations of the digestive tract, and depending on how much the horse ingests, that kind of determines the severity of the problem. It can be treated if it's if it's diagnosed early enough, and if it is a lower load. So if they didn't ingest as much, and there's no parameter. Well, if they ingest just this part, it just kind of depends on the horse, So supportive care typically is what you give. Fluids, they can have some electrolyte abnormalities because they're losing fluid through these ulcerations and that sort of thing, and they're losing electrolytes, so they need to be supported that way. You can try like activated charcoal and things to minimize the toxin. Activated charcoal, mineral oil, any of those things that can bind to whatever toxins in the digestive system so that it doesn't go systemically. It's tough because it is in your hay, and needle in a haystack, right? Like, and they're small little bugs. It's not like they're just going to jump out at you, or they're going to be easily seen, especially if you're feeding in the morning and you're in a hurry and you throw, 2 flakes of hay to each horse. You're not looking for blister beetles, So, it can be kind of scary because the symptoms are relatively quickly occurring, anywhere from 3 to 24 hours. So, you can start seeing some of these issues, fever and ulcerations and that sort of thing. To try to avoid it, they're most commonly found in the Midwest, Western states like Oklahoma, Kansas. They're most active in the summertime, like August, those months, July, August. So when if you're obviously concerned about that, you can find out where the hay came from. You can find out when it was cut. Typically, they tend to occur in, your later cuttings. So if you get like first cutting is less likely to have the beetle in it than a later cutting because of their life cycle and how they progress through the summer months. So, you just be aware of that thing. Like I said, I have never personally seen it, knock on wood, and I hope I don't see it. The interesting thing about that is that you remember a few years ago we were having the creeping indigo concern, right? The creeping indigo, right? So this was this weed that grows, and they can have a lot of the same symptoms, actually, with the mouth ulcerations and hypersalivation that happens with the creeping indigo. So I guess those are two different things to consider if you see this sort of thing. Creeping indigo is kind of, nobody talks about it anymore. It was kind of like hot, and everybody was worried to death about it because, you know, obviously if you get these horses that pass because of it, it's, you know, a hot button topic, but nobody talks about it anymore. And, you know, I'm just kind of researching over this blister beetle, and I come across this, and I started thinking, well, I remember this creeping indigo thing we had, and I did see a horse that got into it a few years ago, and so it was very similar. So be careful where you know, just be aware of where you get your hay. Try to be as informed as you can be on what cutting it is, what state it came from, those sorts of things. And you know, if you're worried, you know, just try to, you know, they kind of look like a, I don't know, like a firefly almost, like a lightning bug kind of looking thing.
Yeah, they do. And they're actually only about 1 or 2 centimeters in size. So if, like me, you're feeding sort of early in the morning in the dark, or if you're feeding when it gets so dark now at 5:30, when you get home, if your hay is outdoors and it's not in a lit area, it's very, very difficult. It would be very hard to see a 1 or 2 centimeter bug in your hay. But one of the things I think I would say is buy from a quality location. Like you said, ask a lot of questions. You know, do you know if this hay was cut and baled immediately? Because apparently that's when they can't escape. If it was actually cut left and then baled later, that gives them a chance to run away. And I don't know that this would necessarily help, but I always shake my hay flake out completely for the horses before I leave it for them. And I would imagine if they're running around in there and you shook it out, that would alarm them somewhat, and perhaps they would take off. And so I'm just always one to shake it out and make sure it looks okay. And I would think that would help. Now, I know the clinical signs you talked about, like mouth sores. I know there can be some lethargy. I read that they can sink their whole mouth in the water trough to try and like ease the discomfort of the mouth sores. Anything distinctive that you can look for that would maybe tell it from poisoning from something like a creeping indigo? And are there any really significant tests that you can do to actually prove that's what it is to treat it?
Well, you can test for that, the toxin cantharidin. You have to, I believe it's in the fecal material. You can test for it in the fecal material. Toxemia in horses when they ingest something toxic is, clinically speaking, is pretty similar no matter what they ingest. You get this ulceration, you get possible fever, you could get diarrhea, you could get blood in the stool, any of these things that irritate the lining of the bowel, you know. So you can test for that poison to see if it is that, but typically it takes a while for them to, you know, get the results back, and your horse is either probably going to be past or better by the time you really get the answer. Either way, you treat the horse the same. You just try to support the horse as best you can, and hope that they didn't ingest a large quantity of it. And I think your idea of shaking the hay out, and sure, any chance that the little boogers could fall on the ground, is better. So yeah.
Well, we got to wrap this segment up. A lot of information. Certainly, as I said, make sure you're getting your hay from a very reputable source. Personally, I buy my hay from Larson's in Seminole. Great quality hay, but I know there's good quality places out there you can get your hay. But ask questions. If you have any concerns or your horse shows any of these symptoms, immediately call your veterinarian, because the supportive care as soon as possible is going to certainly extend the chances of the horse making a very quick recovery. Peterson and Smith Equine Hospital, 352-237-6151. I'm here with Dr. Adam Kayott, Louisa Barton for the Horse Talk Show. Thank you to our presenting sponsor, Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care, and our broadcast sponsor, Larson Farms. Also, thank you to supporting sponsors, DAC Vitamins and Minerals. Seminole Feed Stores, Piranha, TT Distributors, and Midnight Rose Equestrian.
This show is brought to you in part by Seminole Feed Stores, family owned since 1934. Manufacturing fixed formula horse feeds with mindful monitoring and quality ingredients right here in Ocala in an all-natural, non-medicated feed mill. Seminole Feed, simply the world's best and safest feed. Like them on Facebook now or find them at SeminoleFeed.com.
If you're tired of the rigors of keeping your horse's water troughs clean and free of algae, you need the Drinking Post Waterer, an automatic waterer for horses, livestock and cattle. Field tested for over 40 years. The Drinking Post Waterer is the gold standard of non-electric automatic waterers. Check them out on Facebook or find them on the web at dpwaterer.com.
Horses. Piranha! Oh no! Oh, the humanity! Oh, piranha.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital. Back on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Peterson Smith Equine Hospital and Complete Care. Thank you to Larson Farms, our broadcast sponsor, Idaho's finest alfalfa. I'm Louisa Barton, host and executive producer of the Horse Talk Show. In the studio with me, I have a special guest, top equestrian show jumper, Dory Douglas. Dory, thank you for being here with us. It's such an honor.
Fun, yeah.
Such a pleasure.
So fun.
Tell us a little bit of background on you, and I think you started out with Oreo cookie when you were very little, and I know your mom kind of got you rolling at a young age, and so kind of start us off there.
So my parents still live south of Boston. My mother, Karen Douglas, runs a local fun show stable, and that's where my sister and I, Bridget Douglas, grew up riding. We kind of like traveled the local circuit. It was kind of a joke between our family and everybody else that like we never really went to Disney World, but we went to all the horse shows that we could go to. So they were big promoters of us kind of experiencing and doing things versus just like going to school dances and or going on vacation. So it's funny how like my sister and I, Bridget, she's 4 years younger than myself. We kind of look back on it and we're like, wow, our parents really did raise us right, because it was more about experiences and less about, again, like I said, like going on vacations or doing other things like that.
Learning horsemanship skills,
right.
Learning work ethic, of course, because you can't have horses and not learn work
right.
ethic.
Right.
And just having that experience. So your mum was a rider too?
Mm-hmm. She was on like one of the first IHSA teams at UMass Amherst, and that was actually where my dad played. He played hockey there as well, and that's kind of where they met. And she ran Stonecroft Farm with her best friend, Jean Smith, and that's where my sister and I grew up riding.
Oh, wonderful. So tell us about Oreo Cookie.
She was an $800 Pinto or paint pony. I don't really know the difference, honestly.
One is a registered paint that has to have like a quarter horse and thoroughbred background, and the other one, a Pinto, is one that is the color of a paint but doesn't necessarily have that.
Well, she was a small pony. She was a small pony bought from an auction for $800, and we didn't know that she was in foal.
Oh, wow.
So she had a baby that we called Jasmine, and of course she came out all bay. I remember this. She came out all bay, and we weren't like breeding people at all. And of course we like ended up selling her when she was like 4 or 5 months. And basically, like, Oreo Cookie was kind of like the introduction for me and my family into the hunter jumper world, because my mother, till that point, kind of more did like some dressage, some eventing. So she was kind of like the first
step.
The first step into competing in the hunters. And like we kind of again traveled around locally, and we were champion pretty much everywhere we went at 6 years old.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
So kind of take us then forward to horses and kind of the beginning of being on a big horse for you and the direction that took you in.
I think we always kind of, again, like made do. We like found horses that like changed leads, jumped cute enough, made them our own. We would like kind of buy and sell a little bit as like my sister and myself and my mom, and like I did a little bit of catch riding in high school. And I think kind of in our own little way, we kind of made ourselves like kind of like a little known family. We did it together. And like I said, like we gave up, we kind of chose at that point, we gave up school dances, and we gave up, I don't know, like some friend things, because we always loved going to the horse shows.
You want to be at the horse shows?
Yeah, exactly.
That's how you spent your weekends.
That's how we spent our weekends, exactly. So I think, again, looking back on things, like it was a really cool way to grow up with your sister and your family. Mm-hmm. And I mean, even my dad will say to this day, if I want to hang out with my girls, I got to go to a horse show.
You got to go to the horse show?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Got to be a horse show, Dad.
Yeah.
So then bring us kind of to Ocala and the farm here, where you are now, and we're going to share with you, if you're watching on either social media or TV, you'll be able to see some real nice videos in action. Tell us a little bit about coming to Ocala and kind of what brought you here, and the farm that where you are now, and that relationship I know is phenomenal.
So believe it or not, I did actually graduate from college with a bachelor's degree in economics and math and communications. And I traveled for a couple of years abroad in Southeast Asia after doing that.
And you taught English?
I taught English, yep.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt like I was always drawn back to the horses, whether it was riding or the business or in any aspect. So I actually originally came to Ocala. I was going to braid for this one lady, and I found a room on Craigslist. The most expensive thing I owned at the time was my MacBook computer and my Toyota Corolla. And I met these people on Yard and Groom, and I approached them, and they said, oh, no, actually, the position's filled, but we think our neighbors need somebody to work for them. And the neighbors happened to be Mike and Tracy. And the first thing Tracy said to me was, "Are you strong?" And I was kind of like, "Yeah, I got some muscles. I'm pretty strong." And she was like, "No, are you mentally tough?" So that's kind of how I started working for them. And yeah, that was 12 circuits ago.
Wow. So Mike and Tracy McCormick, MTM, and so you've been there with them for a long time?
Yep.
And what's that experience been like? I mean, obviously to be with the same farm, the same people for that long, it has to have been a good experience.
Right. I think that like loyalty is a big quality to me, and I think being able to do things for better or worse, it's become like kind of a family, and like originally it kind of was because they have so many sale horses, you're going to not only get the opportunity to ride, but the opportunity to see a lot of things because they have so many horses coming and going. So I feel like as a young professional, I guess at 34, which I still consider myself.
Yeah, definitely.
You're able to, you're just able to see a lot. And I think the more you see, the more you learn. And that's kind of where it originally started.
And you've had a lot of opportunity to get on younger horses too that still needed to be brought along. So that experience has probably been priceless as well, because, you know, getting on that perfect made horse, although it might look lovely, it's really nice to see horses when they start to accomplish things that you've worked with them on. Well,
and I think that's the whole MTM business model, is that you're happy to see horses that you've brought along then go ahead and do well with other people. And I also think Mike and Tracy themselves, they were able to give me so much opportunity where maybe others wouldn't, because it just happened to be it just was the right time. It was the right time, and like obviously Mike can't ride them all and Tracy can't ride them all. Right. So then I end up riding some of the ones that they can't ride, and then it just a little bit snowballed from there.
It's really incredible. Just share with us, we're in the last minute of this segment, but who is this here?
So this is MTM Lola LOL. She'll be competing at the International Derby Finals in Kentucky this coming week. This was her at Aiken last year, and she was the top money earned horse for the 2021 show season.
Wow! Hold that thought. We're going to come right back. We're actually at the end of this segment, but we're very fortunate we have Dory for two. So stay with us on the Horse Talk Show, and we'll be right back. Current equine microchips can migrate by up to 30%, causing difficulty when scanning. With over 70 years of collective horse industry experience, LipChip offers a new, more effective method of microchipping, partnering with veterinarians and technology experts to ensure humane and practical microchipping. LipChip was built by horsemen for horsemen. Nowadays, the performance horse industry is in need of both integrity and transparency. LipChip is the future of horse microchipping, with cutting-edge technology functional for every discipline. Find LipChip on social media, and for more information, lipchipllc.com. The future is here. The future is LipChip.
This show is brought to you in part by DAC Vitamins and Minerals of Florida. All horses need a solid immune system, excellent joint support, a healthy gut, and DAC has all the vitamins and minerals they need with the NASC stamp of approval. So like them on Facebook now, or go to feeddac.com. DAC, it makes a world of difference.
World-class equine rehab promoting faster recovery is available at the Equine Performance Centre Ocala. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy, an underwater treadmill, a saltwater spa, an aquapacer, MagnaWave, a vibration plate, swimming pool, massage and laser therapies. With post-surgical care, memberships, packages and BOGOs, EPC delivers a rejuvenated horse through proven and innovative rehab. Like Equine Performance Centre now on Facebook and find them on the web at epcrehab.com.
The Larson family has been farming hay in Idaho for generations with a mission to always provide high-quality hay products at a fair and reasonable price. Larson Hay loves to meet new customers while always honoring the ones they already have. Find Larson Hay on the web at larsonhay.com, like them on Facebook, and definitely visit one of their locations. Larson Hay, Idaho's finest alfalfa, and our television broadcast sponsor.
Welcome back to the Horse Talk Show.
You never heard of a talking horse? Well, listen to this.
With your host, Louisa Barton.
What does it feel like to be in love with a horse?
Presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience.
Back in the saddle again.
Now, here's your pretty Louisa Barton.
You're fab. You're switched on. You're a bit of all right. Yes. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital. Back on the second half of the Horse Talk Show, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Farms, our broadcast sponsor, Idaho's finest alfalfa. I'm Louisa Barton in the studio in the CEP, downtown Ocala, the horse capital of the world. Maria Lacasse, my co-host, is out this week. I have the honor of having top equestrian Dory Douglas here with us. And we've been talking a little bit about her career, starting out as a young child with ponies to horses, through the hunter-jumper world with a very supportive family, a sister who rides, parents who've been alongside her for the journey. Now here in Ocala at the MTN farm with the McCormicks and Lola. We got to see there in action who, as soon as she sent me the photo of Lola, I fell in love. I was like, oh, I love that face and what a kind eye and what a lovely horse. And she seems very special, so wonderful to see her there in action. And she's actually going to to Kentucky to compete, and that's coming right up.
She'll be leaving this coming Friday.
How exciting!
And then she'll be competing a week from Friday. Wow. Is the first round of the International Derby.
Wow! How do you think she's going to do? Is she ready?
I think it's again from her getting injured back in April. I think we're all still a little bit shocked as how fast she recovered. But now I think that she's ready for the pressure and she's ready to show and she's ready to kind of compete in kind of, again, the class that this is like her class for the year. It's $100,000 International Derby. There's logs, there's brush, there's hay bales. I think the most unique thing about this class is there's really no other class you can do to get yourself ready for it, for better or worse. The jumps are big, the crowd's amazing. So yeah, I can't wait to show her.
It's really, really exciting. So talk to us a little bit about the incident and how she got hurt, and then I kind of want to switch it up and take us to the Equine Performance and Innovative Center, because we really want to get the word out and focus on how many top equestrians that we've had tell us that the difference in the healing process for these horses is phenomenal. So share with us, and we're going to have some video and photos to share as well while you're talking. But tell us a little bit about kind of the arrival at Epic and kind of why Lola was there.
So she was hurt the middle of April. We were actually all, me, Mike and Tracy were actually all watching one of our German friends compete at the Miami Longines Championships. That's like literally the show on the beach. So we were there kind of like hanging out, partying, whatever, taking a time off. And she was back at the farm, and she's never really been great in turnout. She's not one of those horses that you can just leave out for hours, and everybody knows that. So I don't know if she was stung by something or what, but she basically reared up on the fence. Her armpit was severed to the point where you could basically fit two hands in it. Her left front ankle, luckily nothing was in the joint, but it was also had to be stitched up. So to that point, from the farm, luckily where we are in Ocala, there's so many different choices. She went to a place that they ended up knocking her out completely to stitch it up. When I got back on Monday, I knew that whenever she was mobile, she had to get to Epic. I had, and still do have, a really good relationship with Dr. Perez. He actually doesn't work at Epic anymore. He moved to Georgia. But between Dr. Perez and Dr. Rulon, I knew at the point that she was able to be moved, that's where we wanted her to go. So I think it was 2 or 3 days later, we got a couple guys. Mike himself came, we loaded her up on the trailer, and then from there she arrived to Epic and started the rehab. And I would say the best thing that I felt so good about there, every time I visited her, they were doing something with her, whether they were giving her meds or pulling her out of her stall or doing some sort of therapy. No matter what it was, somebody was always with her. And I think we were all on the same page as, I'm not a wound doctor. They said, like, even the place she was at before, bring her home. We're like, okay, there's flies, there's heat, there's all these different factors.
There's a lot to address with a large wound like that.
Right. And we always just kind of wanted to, like, move forward and make sure she was comfortable. So I think between doing the hyperbaric chamber and then all the medicine she was on and all the care that she got, it's actually unbelievable.
It's miraculous,
Yeah.
really, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's incredible to see what they're able to achieve with the different therapies and having the horse there on site boarding, where the horse can actually be taken care of and monitored and watched. And I was just actually in that barn the other day and was pleasantly surprised at how I didn't see flies and how clean everything was and how amazingly well they took care of my little miniature horse who was laminitic. So just a incredible place. But you kind of remarked, and you know this happened in April, and that's not very long ago, and now the horse is able to compete. Do you feel like without that visit and that time spent at the Equine Performance and Innovative Centre that Lola wouldn't be able to be ready to compete again?
I mean, I think when it initially happened, nobody even knew she was going to live. I mean, we were so worried about her even severing the joint, and how they were so, not only was Epic and Dr. Perez and Dr. Rulon worried about what was happening at the time, they were also so good about following through with the secondary things that could happen. Like, just for example, so since everything kind of happened on her left side, she was so weight-bearing on the right. So between ice and between bandages and between also taking care of that right front, that to me was the difference.
I hadn't even thought of that, but you're right, because when a horse takes the weight off one of its front limbs due to an injury accident like this, that right side is immediately going to get more pressure on it, which can cause laminitis. So that's something you have to be really proactive and prepared.
Right, exactly. And Lola herself, I mean, she's not a small girl.
No.
She's a big, slow hunter derby girl. So it's a lot of weight on the right front. And I think, like, again, between everybody kind of working together, between the farriers and them, I mean, it's actually unbelievable how she's recovered
and ready to go and compete again. And how's she been training? How long was she actually at the Equine Performance Centre?
I want to say 6 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great. And so during that time she probably was in the hyperbaric chamber. I'm sure they probably did vibration plate, cold water spa.
I mean, she initially started where she was at the stall so close to the hyperbaric chamber because she couldn't even walk. And then she gradually
worked her way out.
Exactly.
So it was the hyperbaric chamber really that got
to
her...
me, the hyperbaric chamber really was what it was, because her wound itself was so deep, and you can see her actually in there. So they wet him completely down, so there's no static electricity. All of her shoes were pulled. You can see the left front was wrapped. That's where she had a big bandage on. And then you can't really see in this picture, but her armpit itself, that's where the big laceration was. So their whole idea was they would give her all the antibiotics and all the medicine right before she went in. So then the oxygen itself just kind of went through her system and all that medicine even more. So I would actually completely give her full recovery to the hyperbaric chamber.
That's amazing. That's incredible. And she's ready to go and compete at this level.
At the highest level.
At the highest level in just really a few months.
Yeah.
So it's miraculous. Hats off to Dr. Rilan and the team, Dr. Perez and Equine Performance and Innovative Center are rehabbing this horse back to, wow. Dory, thank you so much for sharing your life with us. And, and stick around for a few more minutes because we're going to come right back. And we've got some great photos to share with you that Henry has sent us. So stay with us on the Horse Talk Show. Thank you to our presenting sponsor, Palm Chevrolet, and broadcast sponsor, Larson Farms. Also, thank you to supporting sponsors, Equine Therapy International, Nirvana Medical Spa, the Equine Performance and Innovative Center, Summit Joint Performance, and Equigreen.
This hour of the Horse Talk Show is presented by Palm Chevrolet in Ocala, where the entire team is committed to making your experience in sales and service hassle-free and easier than ever with no games or gimmicks. Come in and visit on Southwest College Road or online at palmchevrolet.com. A second-to-none experience with all the amenities. Palm Chevy, find new roads.
Nirvana, Ocala's premier medical spa, is leading the way in great skin with all the newest in treatment options, offering prejuvenation for younger clients and rejuvenation for all ages. Nirvana knows you want to look your very best, but we've all seen people with the telltale signs of too much work. We want you to look like you, just better, brighter and younger, with all the newest and best in technology and all in the most beautiful surroundings. Like Nirvana Medical Spa on Facebook and find them on the web at nirvanamedicalspa.com. Become a better, brighter and younger you. Piranha, your trusted leader in insect control for 50 years. The official fly spray for World Equestrian Centre. From the strongest water-based equine spray in the blue bottle to the familiar and long-time favourite in the yellow bottle. Wipe and spray, we've got you covered. If you're looking for effective plant-based fly spray, then look for our Zero Bite in the green bottle. Check us out online at piranhainc.com. That's Pyranha, piranhainc.com, to learn more about Piranha's entire family of products. Piranha, it works.
My name is Dr. Natalie Solomon. I formulated Equigreen with cutting-edge science and technology alongside the passion that is represented by a lifelong love of horses. I created a product that I would trust for my horses because they deserve nothing but the best for their bodies. Horses rely on us to take care of them, to love them, to respect them. This is how Equigreen came to life. Equigreen, CBD for your horse that you can trust.
Hi, this is Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. You're listening to the Horse Talk Show.
The Horse Talk Show broadcasts from the CEP's Equine Studios in downtown Ocala in the horse capital. Back on the Horse Talk Show, presented by Palm Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy experience. Thank you to Larson Farms, our broadcast sponsor, Idaho's finest alfalfa. I'm Louisa Barton in the studios in downtown Ocala. We had Dory Douglas with us. We wrapped it up with her. It flew by, but I did want to give her her goodie bag from Piranha here on air with lots of goodies in here, Ode Away, Legacy, Piranha. I've got some lip chip goodies in here for you. I was telling you about lip chip during the break. So goodie bag for Dory.
Yay,
Dory, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for sharing your epic story. Going to switch it up to Henry Jones. Send us some photographs, current photography. Isaac's going to pop those up there for us. This is incredible here. The Bing Crosby winning you're in for the Breeders' Cup, American Theorem, who is by American Pharaoh, and that's a great photo. He's been there at the races and been sending us some great pictures. We feel like we're there. I think we have one of a hawk too. That one I want to share with you. That is just something new to me. I didn't know anything about this. This hawk is 9 years old, I think. His name is Toothless, and he has been the drone protector there for 7 years. I didn't know that they even did this, but this guy here, he keeps other birds and whatnot off the drone camera that is on the track there. And I thought it was pretty cool that a hawk does that. I thought it was pretty neat. So great photos. I think we have some of Mike Smith maybe as well, Hall of Famer Mike Smith, dear friend of ours. I love that one. I sent that one to Mike Smith and said, look at this. And he said, I love those. So well done, Henry Jones. And thank you for sending and sharing with us some of the experiences. Can't be everywhere. So it's great to see your work. Another one of Mike Smith there. Love to see Mike Smith.
On Royal Ship.
Royal Ship, that's right, on Royal Ship. So love to see Mike racing, still racing, great guy. Stays so fit and healthy and wonderful. Winning, you're in there. For the Breeders' Cup, of course, we'll be chasing the Ocala connections to the Breeders' Cup over the course of the next few weeks and following up with some coverage of the Breeders' Cup. And we've always got a lot of connections here. So we're going to take it over to some, oh, nice trophy. Taking it over to some reining. We were fortunate to be invited by Shannon Rafus to the reining, to the North American Stakes this past week, and we got to be there at World Equestrian Center, and we've got a little chance to chat with Shannon that we're going to share with you, and then we're going to close out the show with Matt Mills in the last segment. So I hope you enjoy this. Shannon Rafus.
I'm Louisa Barton for the Horse Talk Show and Equus Television here at the World Equestrian Center, visiting with Shannon Rafus this week during the North American Reining Stakes, a pretty exciting week with some top competitors. Tell us a little bit about this competition.
Well, the competition at this particular horse show, we have been a partnership for 3 years now. It was 2 horse shows that came together due to COVID, which was a very cool story. But we have had it in Lexington, Virginia. And we were growing, so we chose the World Equestrian Center as our new venue, so we had the ability to spread out and grow. And this particular event is the number 5 event in the country for the National Reining Horse Association, so we are very proud of that. This week we are seeing a ton of riders from all the way from our green reiners up to our level 4 professionals. A lot of our Run for the Million guys are here, and we're all vying for almost $1 million in payout money.
Wow, that's amazing. And this week you've had, I think, a wedding anniversary and a birthday, and your daughter's in Oklahoma competing, and you're trying to run this, and then you're riding too?
Yeah, so it's kind of like Hell Week, or maybe, Hell 2 weeks, but it's good. I mean, we wouldn't have it any other way. I love being able to put on big events, and I love being able to bring great events for our sport to the people here, especially in Ocala. This is in my backyard.